Cajun Cardboard, coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with another mail day. It's mail day number 80. Let's not waste any time. I will give you a spoiler alert. There are some huge cards in here. There are at least two huge cards in here. So we'll do them at the very beginning so as not to waste any time. Let's get straight into it. As usual, my mail days feature pictures of my cards front and back from the PWCC vault. When they arrive at the vault, I share them with you guys. I create a shareable link, and then sometimes I talk about why I bought the cards, and I show you other shareable links that I've created to kind of give you my game plan and how they fit into my collection and why. And then we've got card ladder pulled up for 3 of the cards that I bought to kind of give you an idea of where I bought them, why I bought them, what they've done, and what they're doing. So I think I got 13 cards on today's mail day, so let's get cranking. As you can see, I have a slideshow ready, and let's get rolling. Again, we're going in reverse order. This is the biggest card, and it's not even close. I paid $8,207 for this 1992 Stadium Club Beam Team members only. It was a card that I very desperately needed. I already had the Beam Team PSA 10. I already had the Beam Team members only and Beam Team PSA 8. So the last of the 4 1992 Beam Team Jordans that I needed was this 1992 Beam Team members only PSA 10. As you can see in PSA 10 condition, this members only is a pop 67. It's one of the few cards who over the last 2 years has gone up considerably, right? Even in the Jordan market, we've seen cards kind of come down over the last 2 years. This one has bucked that trend and said, hell no. The card has run up 68% over the last 2 years. Again, it dipped a little bit here, and then around Christmas time, all hell broke loose, and I don't know why, but I paid $82.07. I think this is my purchase right here, if I'm not mistaken. If we hit view all sales, yeah. So $81.57. I think I may have paid $50 for shipping. I'm not sure why, but I did. Anyway, it shipped and arrived safely. So $82.07 is what I paid for the card. Again, it's pretty high, but the card sold for $9,000 here in March. It sold for $7,800, $7,800, $8,091. I just figured it was time. It wasn't going back the other direction. If we look at all time, this card has once sold for $13,000 in the crazy first quarter 2021. Again, a noticeable up and to the right trend. I'm curious though on the regular Beam Team, where are we at on that? What has that done? Let's not look at all time. Let's look at like 6 months. Also running up 44% over the last 6 months. Over the last 2 years, I bet it's not as performed as well, but still up 23%. So happy to have both of those. A pop 102 for the regular Beam Team, and then the Beam Team members only is a pop only a 67 with a really low gem rate here of 6.99%, even lower in BGS. What do I have in that 1992? And you can see I've titled this shareable link 1992 Beam Team Complete and then some. So I've got the 4 that I mentioned, the 92 Beam Team and members only in 10, the 92 Beam Team and members only in 8. So I'm done on my high-end collection. I'm done on my budget Jordan PC and the PSA 8 slabs. And then I've got this 92 Stadium Club Beam Team BGS 9.5 that you see on your screen, ready and waiting to trade or sell to my good friend Zach Rome, who appears on my channel, and you guys know he collects Jordans and BGS 9.5s. So I've got this duplicate copy in a BGS 9.5 that I will trade to him. I actually just made another trade to him for another BGS 9.5 duplicate that I had. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it later in this mail day episode. But that's it for card number 1 on the list. It's the biggest, it's the baddest, it's the one I'm most excited about adding, although it's a very narrow race between that card and this card, and it's a soccer card. So forgive me if you guys are watching for basketball only, but this is a big card for me. As you guys know, if you've watched my channel, I am trying to collect the entire 50 card 2014 first year Prism World Cup autograph set. And Pele is one of the big dogs, right? I've got the Messi in the bag. The Pele was another one of the monsters. Ronaldo won't be cheap, but Pele was probably the second most valuable. I'd have to go look, but I think Pele was the second most expensive card in the set, and I picked it up, and it is a, are you sitting down for this? Pop 4. So Pele's first ever Prism signature card from 2014 Prism World Cup. Happy to add it. Just to give you guys a glance at what I do have. I have 29 out of the 50. Look at the pops of some of these cards. Are you ready for this? In PSA 10, Pop 9, Pop 6, Pop 3, Pop 13, Pop 6. There's a bunch of these. James Rodriguez out there for some reason. PSA 10, Clint Dempsey, Pop 5. Pop 10 for Ricard. Pop 8 for Arjen Robben. Even Josie Altidore, who I despise as a player. Pop 4. The Pirlo, PSA 9. I've got a PSA 10 Neymar, which was not cheap. Pop 2. The Messi, of course, is the highest of the pops because everybody who's got one has graded it and they probably cracked and resubbed until they got a 10. But that's not a high pop card either. Pop 3 for the other Ricard. I think I've got 2 Ricard PSA 9s apparently. No, I've got a PSA 10 Pop 7, and then I need to sell this PSA 9 Pop 3. I've got Beckenbauer Pop 5, which I'm super proud of. I do have a 9.5 Baggio that I'm trying to figure out because I'm OCD, and so I'm probably going to have to move any BGS that you see. Even if it's in a 9.5 slab, I'll probably try to cross that to PSA. And the odds are I'm going to get a PSA 9, but I just got to be okay with that. A Pop 12 PSA 9, Tim Howard. I've got a PSA 8 Sturridge. I've got to do better on that. And then, as you guys can see, it just goes on and on and on. I've just picked up a Mario Kempes PSA 9. And then I've got, a PSA 10 Gerard Piqué, which is big. That's a Pop 3 card. The Suarez is a PSA 10. Drogba PSA 10, I am beyond thrilled about. He's the reason I started following Chelsea over a decade ago. And then a Jorge Campos PSA 8. And then Roberto Carlos. And then another Mario Kempes. This one's a Pop 10, PSA 10, Pop 11. And then, of course, the Pele that I just picked up is a Pop 4. So just a little rundown of what's going on in my soccer world. Continuing on, so that was the second card and the second biggest card. Couple of babies here. The 1991 Hoops McDonald's PSA 8 USA card. Just a really cool throwback card. These were actually my favorite Jordan shoes ever. Those shoes right there, for some reason, just really hit for me. And let's read the back real quick. After first electrifying international basketball while leading the U.S. to a gold medal at the '84 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Don't forget, he was on that team of college kids that won the gold. He'll return, and of course, there's a million stories coming out of that Olympic trials, the Olympic tryouts, where Barkley was cut and Bobby Knight didn't like him, and then Bobby Knight said Michael Jordan was the best basketball player he had ever laid eyes on. He will return to the national stage once again as one of the first 10 players selected to the 92 Olympic team, the first ever to be comprised of current NBA players. This is obviously the dream team. Jordan, the 5-time NBA scoring champ, averaged a team high 17, 3, and 2 in that 1984 Olympics, posting the team's highest one-game scoring output, having 24 and 12 of 18 shooting when they beat the shit out of Spain. Of course, things would change. Pro players would show up, and then the dream team would change basketball forever. It would literally change NBA basketball, but also basketball forever, and change it from a primarily American sport to a global sport, second only to soccer as far as world popularity. And then a 1992 Topps. This is just the base PSA 8 super cheap card. It's card number 115. There's a couple of them in 1992 you got to get. The 97 Skybox Super Boss. So there's a Boss and there's a Super Boss. The Super Boss is much more rare, much tougher pack odds. I've got the Super Boss PSA 8. I think I have a Boss in PSA 10, but I still need the Super Boss in PSA 10, which is a crazy low pop card. But I was happy to pick up this PSA 8. And then I got a couple of starting lineups. The 1991 Kenner dribbling starting lineup, Jordan PSA 8 right there. And then the 1990 Kenner Jordan yellow starting lineup. That's actually a duplicate. I think I have 2 of those in PSA 8. It was just so cheap, I just grabbed it. I don't know, one of those things where I just grabbed the duplicate. And then here's where the wheels come off, and there's a story behind this. I just love this card. I just think this card is undervalued. I think it's underappreciated. I think it's very unique. It's very different. It's the 1997 Fleer Soaring Stars. This is a PSA 10 copy, and it's a duplicate that I picked up in a trade with the aforementioned Zach, who often appears on my channel with Jordan card collecting episodes. He collects in 9.5. I had an extra Legacies Jordan BGS 9.5. I traded that to him. He traded this to me and $400 cash. So it worked out well for both of us. He got what he wanted for his collection. I was nice enough to take a duplicate copy of a Soaring Stars PSA 10 into my collection. And it's just a really good looking card. The winner and still champion, Michael Jordan, continued his extraordinary reign, leading the Bulls to their 5th title in 1997 while garnering his 5th NBA Finals MVP award. I have a bazillion of this card. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 PSA 10s, and I've got a high flying parallel PSA 10 and a high flying parallel PSA 8. So all I need is the Soaring Stars PSA 8 to be done with the whole quadrant, right? There's the regular, then there's the high flying, PSA 10, PSA 8, that's what I'm looking for. I'm really close. I'm almost there. But just to look at what this card's done over the last 6 months, it's exactly flat as a fritter. Look at this. 408, 408, 430, 400, 385, 400, 408. Again, I think I did Zach a pretty serious solid here, basically taking this card in exchange for a Legacies, this card in $400 in exchange for a Legacies 9.5, which I think was about $1,000 card. So I took about $800 back in trade, which was I was happy to do it for Zach. But it's a pop 168. It's been graded 600 times. Got a 27% gem rate. Again, it's not the most rare, but it's in that like zone of affordability. And 408. I think it should be about a $600-700 card, just based on aesthetics, based on pop count, based on the year, everything about it. That's just me and my personal opinion. That's what the card's done over the last 6 months. Over the last 2 years, it's nosedive, right? This card was almost pushing $1,000 at one time, but it's sort of steadied out as we looked at over the last 6 months. It's about as flat as it gets, exactly the same. What else is next? Okay, so Soaring Stars, PSA 10 in the trade. The plus factor, this is another interesting card. I want to look a little bit closer at this because it's not an insert card, but it looks like an insert card, okay? It's a subset card. If you look at it, it's just visually appealing. In the background, it looks like pool water. I'm assuming that's pool water. Really cool looking visual backdrop for that. It's got Jordan's scoring average down there at 28.7, taking him one of his patented fadeaway jump shots. It's from 1998 Fleer Tradition, which is just regular Fleer, I think. I don't think there's a Fleer Tradition and a Fleer. I think they called it that in this year. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. I might be wrong, but I think in 97 it was called Fleer, in 98 it was called Fleer Tradition. Double check me on that. I might be wrong about that. But this is the plus factor. Again, it's card number 142. It's an insert card. I've got the 10 and the 8. Pretty simple. There's your slideshow. I needed a 10. I have it. I needed the 8. I have it. So I'm done there. Looking at this card, look at what this card's done in PSA 10 over the last 3 months. It is only a pop 108, and it is up 86% over the last 3 months. So just another one of those off-the-radar, sneaky little moves that some of these Jordan cards are making. The thing that's really interesting about this card is look at the PSA 8 value. The last one sold for $10. That's crazy. That seems too low. There's not that many of these out there. 803 have been graded by PSA. The vast majority have been graded by PSA. There are a couple out there graded by Beckett, 70, but most people are sending these to PSA. There's only 108 10s. The 9 is only $30. That seems too low. And again, I'm not here telling y'all to go out and scoop up every PSA 9 plus factor you can buy, but I think if you're a Jordan collector and you need to put one of these in your collection, the timing may be really good on a PSA 9 or a PSA 8. Maybe not so good on a PSA 10. But look, a pop 345, it's an insert type card. It is a subset card. $30 just seems really low, below $30. And for a PSA 8, god dang, it's like $19 to grade a card with PSA, and the last one sold for $11. If you could pick anything up for under $20, I would just scoop it up and just have a couple extra copies. You can always, as we know, click the Buy It Now button here. It'll take you to eBay. You can hit Buy It Now. You can sort by lowest price. I'm guessing there's not going to be any of them under $20. 35 is the cheapest one on there. Of course, we were just on auction, and we can look at auction and look at ending soonest. And you got one with 6 days left. It's at $435. So we'll see where that PSA 8 sells for. But a pretty cool card nonetheless. I like the card. I think it's a really good looking card, and it's relatively cheap. Then I've got a nice 1996 Scoring Kings, sort of the forgotten Scoring Kings, but also the most rare Scoring Kings. There's a Scoring Kings Plus version of this. Of course, we know that There's the original Scoring Kings, right, from 93 Ultra, which is just the badass with the Jordan Lightning, one of the most iconic, one of the earliest Jordan inserts that was most highly sought after by people around my age in the early 90s. Then there's the 95 Scoring Kings, 94, 95 Scoring Kings, the one that looks like, it's almost like medieval looking, and this one's kind of medieval looking too. But this Scoring King, I'm sorry, I can't remember the year of the middle Scoring Kings. But then this is the, and that one has a Hot Packs parallel. This one's got the Scoring Kings Plus parallel, and the Scoring Kings Plus parallel is super rare and super expensive. Even a PSA 8 of this was not really all that cheap. But that is the PSA 8 that I have. I still need the PSA 10 Scoring Kings and Scoring Kings Plus, and I still need the PSA 8 Scoring Kings Plus. I've kind of put this one off, so I don't have all the Scoring Kings for this one in my collection yet, but I am set on the 93 Scoring Kings. But that is the next card in our list. And then the Quick Strike I was happy to pick up. Here's what the issue is with this card, and this is why this card is so impossible to find in a PSA 10 or a BGS 9.5, is the surface flex. You guys can see them. These black marks are chinks in the surface. It is. There is no way to keep this crap from flecking away, and those black marks are where this kind of like shiny silver foil on the front has kind of flecked away, and it's just glaring, right? And that's why this card's an 8 and not a 10. Of course, centering may not be perfect. I gotta look closer, but yeah, centering's not exactly perfect, but those flecks coming out are the reason, and you can even see them on the back. See down here, it looks like two vampire teeth kind of bit into it. There's a mark missing right there. It's just a really hard card to find in a high grade. The Quick Strike is a pretty rare card, but I was happy to pick up the PSA 8. Even the PSA 8s are not cheap for the Quick Strike or for the Scoring Kings that we looked at. Those are not cheap cards, and I didn't pull it up on Card Ladder, but not cheap cards. And then this is a cheap card. This is the 1995 metal, Maximum Metal Jordan, which I was happy to pick up. It is a duplicate copy. I do have two of these. It's 95 metal, which is kind of the precursor to Metal Universe, and it's die cut, and it's not really that high a pop, and it was super cheap, so I decided to pick up another one. I think I paid $88 for that or something like that, so I wanted two copies, so I've got two PSA 8s of that card as well. And that does it, guys. Going back to the list, obviously the two bangers are at the beginning, the Beam Team Members Only PSA 10 and the Pele autograph first year Prism World Cup Pop 4 card. Then we've got just a bunch of munchkins. But honestly, like the Super Boss, the Soaring Stars 10 is a nice card too, I must say. The Super Boss PSA 8, the Scoring Kings PSA 8, and the Quick Strike PSA 8 are not cheap cards. I mean, those cards are meaningful in PSA 8 slabs, and I loved picking them up for the price that I picked them up at. And so that does it for the mail day number 80. Let me know what you guys think. A heavy Jordan flavor there with a Pele mixed in out of nowhere, right? Probably shocking. When I saw it on eBay, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, now's my chance. I got to get it. It's a Pop 4 in PSA 10. I'm never going to see another one. So, and yeah, I know the autograph's not perfect. A lot of the autographs in this set run off sticker. And then Cafu is one of the guys who he signed it with a Sharpie that was out of ink. And so every one of his autographs, you can barely see it. It's barely legible. Like you can barely even perceive it. It's signed so brightly. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. I hope you're having a great weekend. Have fun. Buy some cards. Pick up some cards in the PWCC Sunday Weekly. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. Peace.